Hello everybody, today we're going to unbox, take a close-up look and try on the Comtex Men's Black Dial Chronograph sports watch. So let's go ahead and open up the box. Alright, so we do that by peeling off or cutting away the shrink wrap. So off comes the shrink wrap. And now let's go ahead and open up the box. And let's slide the contents out from it. So as you can see, there is another box on the inside. And making sure that there's nothing else left behind. Okay, so that's the box emptied. And now we're looking at the contents that we've just removed from it. Okay, so let's start off by first taking a look at this bag here. So there is a carry bag with a fabric handle or carry strap, and just looking inside the gift bag, there appears to be a service guide. So let's set that down to one side for right now and then take a look around the bag. So there we go. So it does have an Eiffel Tower or image of it on the bag there, and just going to set the contents out once again right there. So that's what we've removed visibly from the outer box packaging. Alright, so go ahead and setting the kind of carry bag or gift bag to one side right there. So we can move on to the service guide. So there is a small little service guide booklet here, and let me do a bit of rejigging in the background so it's not too distracting. So service guide for the Comtex Men's Black Dial Chronograph watch. So as you can see, table of contents in Chinese as well as English and Japanese as well. So 3 languages covered in this user guide or user manual. And just doing a quick flip through, and there appears to be a quality certification stamp as well. So a card there stamped to certify that the watch was inspected and it's good for use. So that's the booklet or service guide there. Now moving on to this box here, taking a quick look around. Alright, so simple, straightforward box. Now let's pop open the box lid there or flap, and that reveals the Comtex Black Dial Chronograph Men's Sports Watch. I'm giving you a close-up look right there with the watch resting nicely in its very secure box here. Okay, and let me do a bit of reshuffling once again in the side here, because we don't want too much of the background interfering with the foreground. Okay, and let's see what else I can separate from this. So there appears to be a little fabric pull strap there, or handle, and it does reveal what appears to be a cleaning cloth. So there is a microfiber cleaning cloth here, and it feels really, really luxurious. So let's go ahead and open it up just to show you what the cleaning cloth is about. So a nice lint-free cleaning cloth, and of course it's meant for use to clean the watch and remove any streaks or smudges and any material and lint or dust from the watch. So there we go, with the Comtex branding as well in the bottom right hand corner. Okay, so that's the cleaning cloth. Nothing else left in that tray there, or drawer. Let's put it back there and maybe just leave it out to the side. So the reason why I've put it back in that drawer there, so it doesn't get contaminated by leaving it on the tabletop surface, and then making sure there's nothing else around the box that I can play around with or open. So lastly, we do have the watch itself. So here's the flaps are magnetic, by the way, so they do stay in place right there. So let's turn the box around, find the best orientation perhaps that way, and leave it just there. Okay, so we do have the watch itself. So you can see it is nicely protected with a plastic wrapper or cling film. So it is wrapped up in shrink wrap. So this is the red version. There's also a blue version where the red accents are blue instead. And showing you the pin buckle right there, the tang buckle of the watch. And it does have the Comtex branding on it, so it looks to be laser etched right there. So nice attention to detail right there with the Comtex branding on it. And the strap, it is a very soft silicone strap, very supple and soft and very smooth to the touch. So velvety smooth silicone strap right there. Ooh, almost dropped the watch. Got to be careful right there. And just showing you the length of it as well. So it does have a Japanese quartz movement. So it is a battery powered watch. And it is water resistant to 100 meters. Let me say that again. It's water resistant to 100 meters. So nice stainless steel watch right there. And let me remove the shrink wrap. Just going to give you one last look with it, with the shrink wrap on. And then let's go ahead now and remove the shrink wrap. So always a tricky thing to do, trying to locate the ends of the shrink wrap, but this time around seems to be fairly straightforward. Peeling off the shrink wrap right there. It does have a little tab there in the crown of the watch just to make sure that the battery doesn't drain out when it's being shipped. So let's remove that spacer or tab there. Okay. So now we have a very good view of the watch right here, and the back side as well. So nice unobstructed view of the watch without that shrink wrap right there that we've just removed. And you can see the thickness of the case. And I'm trying to avoid touching the stainless steel case, which does have a very exquisite finish right there. You can see it does appear to be or have a very light satin brushed finish. So very fine detail right there. It almost kind of looks polished from far away, but up close you can see that it is very finely brushed right there. So very fine detail. And just to show you and give you other views of the watch. And of course, let's go ahead and push that crown in. And before we do that, actually, let's see if we can make some adjustments to the time. And actually maybe just show you the crossover of the time as well. And let's see what we can do with the date. If we can advance or bring back the date. Okay, always read the user manual before attempting to make any adjustments to the watch. In this case, let's have a play around and see what we can do right here. Okay, it does have a screw down crown right there, so it's nice and secure right there. So that lets it achieve the 100-meter water resistance. And if we unscrew the crown, let's see what we can do. Okay, at the first stop we can adjust the time, and you can see that date crossover pretty much at the midnight mark. And let's pull it one more further, which we can't, so there's just one stop right there. And two stops actually. So this stop with the anti-clockwise rotation does advance the date. So let's go ahead and set the date quickly. And let's pull it up to the furthest position, and that's where we adjust the time. So let's spin it right round and watch the date change as well. So another 12 hours will do the trick. So just showing you in terms of how the date crosses over or advances when the hour and minutes pass or approach midnight. So there we go. Very good crossover right there. And of course, just gonna very quickly set the time for right now, just for the fun of it. So you can see that the hour and minutes does advance fairly reasonably with the rotation of the crown. And there we go. Okay, and pushing the crown in and screwing or locking it down right there to give the watch its water resistance. So the watch does have the chronograph function, so the stopwatch let's go ahead and start the stopwatch by pressing on the start right there. So you can see the seconds hand tick away. And to stop it, just pressing down again, and to reset right there. So nice sweeping action to reset, or when it resets. So start, stop. Stop appears to be silent without any clicking, and of course resetting right there does have a nice feel to it. So very interesting. Start clicks, just listen out right there. And if I do stop it right now, it's going to stop with no noise at all. And then resetting does have that click again right there. And it's nice to see that second hand sweep right around and so quickly back to the 12 o'clock position. Okay, now giving you some close-up looks at the dial of the watch. So there are 3 sub-dials on there, and of course the date window at 3 o'clock. And let's let the watch run, or stopwatch run, for a minute or so. And watch the sub-dials advance. So there appears to be a minute sub-dial there. Not quite sure which one that is. And then I would assume that is the hour sub-dial right there. So the top sub-dial at 12 o'clock, which is the minute sub-dial, should advance to 1 when the seconds hand reaches 12 o'clock. And of course we're not going to be able to see the 9 o'clock hour sub-dial advance, because that would simply make the video too long. So let's see what happens when it does hit. You can see that the minute sub-dial has already advanced. And giving you a close-up look right there. And let's go ahead and stop the stopwatch. So a silent press when it comes to stopping, and then resetting does click away and sweeps the seconds hand right back to the 12 o'clock position. And that should also reset the sub-dial at 12 o'clock as well, so pay attention. So right there. Okay, and giving you a look once again at the side. So it does have satin and polish elements to the finish, so finely brushed side of the case and a nice polished bevel right there. And then back to the top surface, which is once again brushed, very finely brushed. And taking a look at the case back right there. So in terms of weight, it does feel moderate in weight, not too heavy, not too light. I think the weight savings come from the strap itself, because you can see how much or how wide the strap is from between the watch lugs or case lugs. And of course the strap's made of very, very supple and soft silicone. I'll show you the thickness of the strap. So it does have that nice red stitching detail or accent. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the red version. The blue versions have the red parts in blue. So there are two keepers, which are also made of very soft silicone. And just to show you how soft the strap is, I'm going to give you a close-up look right there as well. So nice close-up look at an angle right there. So you can see very clearly the details of the dial. As well as the brushed and polished elements of the case. So nice stainless steel case with a stainless steel case back. So a pretty masculine watch given the width of the watch. It does taper down to a evenly sized strap. And of course, let's see if there's any lume on that dial as well, on the hands as well as markers. So I can very faintly see that there's very light lume, but obviously the lights in here aren't intense enough to charge those markers up. Just to show you different profiles of the watch right there. The Comtex men's black dial chronograph sports watch with a Japanese quartz movement. So it is water resistant to 100 meters, as you can see on that case back there. And of course, let's go ahead and try it on. So I do have a 17.2 centimeter circumference wrist, or 6 3/4 inches. And let's strap the watch on my wrist right there. So it feels really comfortable with the very wide yet soft strap. And of course, the width and thickness of the strap does give it that reassuring feel of being very, very secure. So right there, I'm going to show you that strap again and the pinhole position on my 6 3/4 inch circumference wrist. So pinholes, there appears to be just 2 more going in, so this watch is designed for someone, or up to someone, with a very much thicker wrist. But it feels just perfect, resting very, very nicely on my wrist right there, nice and flat, and the strap doesn't feel too tight or anything like that as I clench my fist. I could loosen it by one position and see what happens. So going down one pinhole, and the watch is wearing just as nicely. Gives me some mobility or some comfort in hot weather as well. So nice positions there with plenty of room for much larger wrist sizes right there. So for the time being, this is a very nice watch to be wearing right now. And just making sure that the buckle sits nicely right there. And let's perhaps tighten it back down to that original position which I had earlier, which I feel this is perfect right now, and giving you that close-up look of how the watch sits on my wrist. And the thickness, you can see, nice and flat with the soft silicone strap or band going right down the sides of my wrist right there. So lovely and comfortable watch. So very masculine, of course, due to its size, but it's not overly thick. You can see it is long and it is wide, but without being too chunky. And of course the comfort is right there as well, with the thick and supple, soft silicone strap. Just give you an idea or look at the depth as well of the dial, how it sits, and the chapter ring around the dial, giving the dial a good sense of depth right there. Okay, so that's the watch being tried on. Lovely fine detail. Once again, giving you another close-up look. Let's hold it very steadily, always a tricky thing to do. All right. So that's the Comtex Men's Black Dial Chronograph Sports Watch. Thanks for watching and happy ticking!